Hello everyone. London Go Centre had the honor to host European Women Championship. The tournament was held online on OGS. This will be a game between Ariane Ougier, who took black in this game, and Virzhina Shalneva.
Hello, it's Virzhina here, and I'm going to tell some of my thoughts on the game against Ariane. But I got into a unnecessary fight. I struggled in living with a few groups, which was not a good style. In the end, Ariane made a mistake, and I got a chance to finally settle my position. Both my groups lived, and stopped noticing that my group is dying again. And what I clearly remember from the game is that I died, I was crushed, I had no chance at all. Except of one plan that I was very proud of during the game. I tried to trick my opponent by switching her attention. So it was just a very unlucky mistake made by Ariane. It's very painful to make such a mistake. It was one of my worst game in terms of letting my opponent control the game and just let her take the initiative.
It was a very severe fight from the start until the end. Not so long time ago, we had a lesson about attacking defense and strong and weak groups. So we can use some of the things we learned in that lesson in this game. Both of these players are 4-dan levels, so they are playing on very high level. However, it's still possible to find mistakes in their play, especially in a close combat fighting. So let's take a look on this game. We had a kind of simple modern opening. So far everything kind of normal. Maybe this pincer is slightly less usual in these days, but both sides decided to play in a very simple way here. And now black took it and decided to attack these 3 stones. I think I have already noted during one of the lessons that actually these 3 stones are not really weak as they look. Even if white doesn't answer right now, black probably needs at least 1-2 moves to try some severe attacking on this group, but before that 3 stones are kind of strong themselves. So white can always make this kind of scorpion shape, for example, and it's not really easy to attack white in this corner. This is kind of a good distance. How should we attack these 3 stones? Because now white doesn't have an opportunity to play here, or white can do it, but it's not so interesting. And on the other hand, if black would play here, and this is relatively close to the 3 stones, white can counter pincer. And if black would play here now, white has the opportunity to create some kind of base. So that's why this was an ideal distance how to attack these 3 stones. But probably black cannot expect that white will directly start running, because white can actually take those 3 stones as a thickness, not as a weak group. So that's why white decided to pincer from this side. And maybe we might find this move slightly questionable at this moment. Maybe we would probably expect black to pincer somewhere closer to 017, because 017 is clearly weaker stone than the 3 in the top left. Okay, so black jumps and white decides to settle fast at the top side this way, and then white decided to jump. So this jump actually makes sense if white is pretending to attack h15, but the question is how severely white can actually attack, especially when these 3 stones, even though I said they are not weak, still they don't have a base. They are not 100% alive. So the question is how much actually white can attack black's 2 stones at the top side. Also, the distance between these 2 stones is 3 space, so there might be quite a lot of edges. So the question is if actually white wasn't careless here, and I would believe white should have played just this way to protect the weaknesses at the top side. Normally white protects this way, but this would be too over-concentrated. So therefore I would decide to extend here. So white jumps and black immediately goes for some activation of these edges. Well, to me it might feel slightly a bit too direct, because normally when I want to attack somewhere or exploit some weakness, I want to make some preparations. But probably here black doesn't have that much to prepare. Just only thing I would change, I would first ask how does white answers this peep. Because if white answers this way, after this peep white connects, black plays here, white blocks, and then black plays here, and white is in a severe trouble at the moment. So probably I would start with the peep at L16. But anyway, starting here makes sense. This shape is probably questionable, but still not so easy for white to connect somehow, because if white tries to connect this way, then after this move, what will black do? So black will most likely play here, and if white wants to connect everything, white can probably do it this way. Black probably cannot start disco, so black has to connect under, but even like this, actually, black kind of stole a lot of base from white. On the other hand, white is not too weak in the center, but these two stones became kind of alive. So I think black is not complaining on this result. But white decided to play here, which gives black the opportunity to play this connection. Probably white was hoping that black will play like this, and then white will get the opportunity to destroy her shape and then go up. Cut is probably not working directly, because black can play Atari, white connects, and black captures white in the ladders. So this wouldn't work. But anyway, this move is not ideal, and after black plays here, now it's not really easy for white, because now white has two groups to take care of. Each of them have one eye, but that's not enough for living. But white found quite a nice Tesuji to play here first, because after this Hane, if black keeps extending here, white will play here, and then white will be most likely able to capture these 5 stones at the top side. So Q15 together with R16 was a very nice combination, but still it doesn't change the fact if black just takes and then connects this dumpling, then this Atari is very nice for black, and white is separated, and her situation is not really pleasant at the moment.
I didn't play solidly. I knew that she's going to invade, but I thought it's fine and I wanted to see how it goes. So she invaded and it went for sometimes as I planned. But at some point I started noticing that my groups are quite weak and it's hard to save them both. I thought there should be a good reading at that moment, so I took some of my minutes to count what's the best way to escape with both groups. And I'm not sure, maybe it wasn't necessary, maybe there is much space to leave for both.
Also, after white connects, black's situation improves even more, because now white saved useless stone and black gets a great shape. So I think white definitely shouldn't save this stone, and white has to run as fast as possible out of the fight at the top side, because at the moment the fight is too serious, so white has to run towards the center this way for sure. So black plays this hanging connection, white makes this exchange, and then white jumps this way.
I felt it's very hard, so I managed to go out with one group.
Yeah, I think white once again deal with this trouble quite well, same like in this area. This combination is also very nice, but still it doesn't change the fact that the game is difficult for white, because white has two weak groups here and black has only a weak group here. I think these two stones cannot be considered as a weak group anymore. Or if you want to consider them as a weak group, then I think these 3 stones should be considered as a weak group as well. So that means black has 2 weak groups and white has 3. So it's much easier for black to deal with this situation. So black destroys the shape and even takes this liberty here. That was probably not necessary, because black can do this anytime and the liberty might be useful. Moreover, it's a call threat, of course. The exchange was not necessary. And then black played quite interesting separating move here. Probably I would play a bit more simple here. I would make this exchange, and then black would play this Keima. And if white keeps running in this direction, white is also damaging herself on the right side quite heavily. So that's why I would be very happy about this result as well. So black played this one, white played here, and black turned. Now we can see that this exchange was definitely questionable, because now white has a good chance to play here, because then white would be able to connect this way. Of course, black gets something on the outside, but white wouldn't have to bother with the connection anymore. White can also play here. Probably this is even better than Q10. Now it's really hard for black to find the next continuation. But white played here, black played Hane, and white decided to play this peep. Of course, white is also trying to make her group stronger at the top side, but this attack is too painful. If white plays this kind of Hane, we always have to extend. There is no other option at this moment. Otherwise, M11 doesn't make sense. But still, I think I wouldn't even play here, because this is just helping black to get a good shape, and white is also naturally making her group weaker at the top side. So I think that's another reason why white should play here, because black is not getting any centimus from the outside. Probably the only exchange black can get is this one, but it's not anything terrible for white. And probably white's group at the top side is still somehow breathing, because if black tries to surround it, then most likely white can make two eyes somehow. Maybe white can try some combination like this one. This might be quite interesting. And if this is not working, then probably white can just live this way. It will be a bit painful, but white can at least still live. Black plays Hane, white plays here, and white probably expected black will answer, but that cannot happen. Black will first play this Atari. White made a mistake. Entering this core is extremely heavy, because if white plays here, black probably cannot play this move, because if white plays here, the semi is not looking good for black. Even if black tries to play like this, then connect, and then play from the outside, we can easily count liberties that white has 7 and black has only 6. So I think white didn't have to worry about this connection. So black has to play here and white has to play here. Finally, the game will be actually standing like this, but kind of different order. So white tried this call, black plays here, white plays this call threat, black blocks. So this is actually kind of lucky for white, that white still has some more core threats on the right side. So finally the situation ends up, I have already showed, just with a different order of moves, but this still doesn't change the fact that after this move, most likely if black just plays here, white is in a deep trouble. However, black played this move, so black is definitely saying she wants to kill white, for sure. But this is actually something we will see a lot of time in this game, that both players are playing too direct. They are attacking without any preparation. I'm not even sure if there is a specific plan behind killing. Probably at this moment, I think black should be happy that she can surround white. And now, if white can live in some painful way, like this, for example, black is definitely very happy. Black will just fix the shape this way, for example, and now black got a very solid thickness, and also the 3 stones are slowly dying here. So I think in this case it would be way enough for black to just surround white, and it would be enough profit itself. So there is no reason to try to kill white this way. So white plays this wedge.
I don't understand now why I played it. It was unnecessary.
This wedge is making one eye, but in fact it actually helped black a lot on the outside, and also it made these 3 stones way weaker than they used to be. So I think the attachment was not good, and even after this move, which I consider as a mistake, it still doesn't change the fact that white situation is quite difficult. So white probably should play here, then answer this one. Black will probably play Kosumi, but if white wants to run, white is once again damaging the 3 stones in the top left, and it's not really easy for them to live at the moment. So the game is still hard for white. So it was good that black connected from this side, because white's cut from this side is not really working, because black can underconnect this way. Also, black got another possibility to connect under this way. So that means 2 very important benefits black got here. Also, if black plays h17 marked with B, that will make black super solid. So there is no wonder that after white jumped here, black directly captured the 3 stones. Even though they look small, it's not about points here. It's actually about making black super solid. And if black will have stronger groups than white, it's very unlikely she loses. So I think taking the 3 stones makes sense. And then white plays here another very direct move, because it's creating an eye, but it was already kind of there. It's also cutting off the path for black to connect under. But why would black connect under? Black has quite a strong group here on the outside. So white is actually saying with this move she wants to attack black, but it's actually out of reality. Like white has to play here to make a good shape first, and we cannot attack without a detailed preparation. So white at least needs to make some exchanges like this, and then maybe white can consider this move. But I think, for example, running with the 3 stones in the top left is much more important. So black blocks, white plays this move, and white plays here. These exchanges were probably not ideal from black. Probably black should have just connected and let white play here, or play some extensions, but this would probably finish in gote. I'm even thinking to not play here at all, because these exchanges are not giving black anything. This move is unpleasant. White is able to catch these stones from this side. So black jumps and white plays here. Black has to connect, And now white is kind of pretending she's already alive. Still, at least black would get this exchange, which is kind of surrounding white. Also, black will get this move in center, and it will improve black's shape in the center by a lot. So this is also a very important moment of the game. Black played Hane, and if we want to attack the opponent, we should play as contactless as possible. So probably in this case, black should just extend. This Hane is actually giving a lot of forcing moves for white, and it's actually similar here. It would be just better just to connect. If white jumps, black will probably pincer from the outer side. This looks still good that we can continue the attack this way. But if black plays this way, for white it's not so hard to escape or settle somehow in the center because white can get a lot of attaching moves. Also, this Hane is actually giving white an opportunity to make a good shape, so I would definitely keep extending. So white plays like this, then cuts this way, then plays here, and after this move, black plays here, which is center, but after white plays here, black extends here, and this is actually a very big mistake from black, because this is creating two opportunities for white to live as a Miai, so that means white can directly capture these two stones.
I was very shocked when Ariane played the next move, which lets me take center. And for the first time in this game, all of my groups are safe and alive. That's amazing. And I even have territory. And the game becomes even. I even felt it's good for me. Probably because it was such a relief.
Big loss. So at this moment, black has to block. Even if white cuts, there is not much what can happen to black because the group at the top side is 100% safe and the group in the center is also not weak. So if white plays here, black will just keep extending most likely this way and black will still create a lot of territory on the left side. So if black doesn't die in the center or something, black should be definitely ahead on points. But this extension is a very big mistake. I think white didn't expect such a good result here. This actually completely changes the game because up to this moment the game was very difficult for white. White was very busy everywhere, but like this somehow white managed to settle down everything and black didn't get enough from the attacking. So I think the game is back to even at this moment. So here, normally we play this attachment when there is a Keima instead of a Kosumi, but if there is a Kosumi, usually this attachment is not good because white can very easily Hane and black can just extend. So I think we usually should play Keima if we want to invade here. Yeah, so then black attaches, white wedges, black plays here. White cuts from this side, which is very questionable. I think white should just attack from this side. It's a better style. So black makes this exchange, creates some kind of shape. This is another local mistake from white. In this kind of situation, we can only take. Just clean up the stone out of the board so to make sure black will not get any other forcing moves. So because like this is not a forcing move, but in the game it is. White definitely needs to answer. But f5 to take the stone directly would be just better. So this Hane was also questionable from white. It's actually very similar as this Hane from black because this gives black a very nice shape on the outside. So I think white should just keep extending. And if black will go with white, I think white will be happy. Because these exchanges are of course good for white because white is creating some territory or potential at the bottom side, but black is not building much in the center. So black plays hanging connection, white plays here, and this move is actually another direct move from white. I don't know if white is pretending that she wants to kill black here or attack her. That's impossible. But what's the most important, white is killing herself. We shouldn't forget that white's snake in the top left, which is capturing the two stones, is still not alive. So I think it would be good if white adds some moves here. And to make sure that white is alive. So I would probably do it this way so we can still add up some points. Anyway, if white plays here, white doesn't have two eyes anymore. So after this move, I think white is in deep trouble. Yeah, so we can see white is desperately trying to escape somehow. But at this moment, white looks absolutely dead. But then black played this move, which was not really necessary. There was no way how white could create any eyes on the left side. Black should just take the stone. And the game is finished. White is just dead. And therefore we would realize that these two moves were overplays. Or more like these two moves on the 6th line. But anyway, still the group was quite weak and the biggest overplay was this move. white actually forgot that she is not alive and she cannot attack anymore. So that's something we need to always make sure. When we want to attack or try to kill, we need to make sure our surrounding groups are all right and that we are not leaving weaknesses. So black plays Atari and white plays here, and white finds very nice core here. Because if black connects, then white can throw in, black takes, white will play this move, and then white will kill this way. So it will be still core. So actually I have to say this throw in is a very nice move from white, which white probably prepared, which still gives white some hope. Then black plays this move, which I cannot understand. Black should definitely play here, and if white takes, then the core continues, and black will most likely use the local core threads here. But after all, black got scared, kind of, so she decided to connect under the rest of the stones. But now we are playing a core not only for white's group, but we are also playing a core for these black stones, which are quite valuable. So it's only like 20 points, but they are cutting stones, and they are making white's groups alive. So that's why it's a very huge core at the moment, and we will see that black is able to pay amazingly big price only for winning this core. So black actually dares to run with this ladder. So normally we should never ever play this kind of core threats, but if black was sure she wins the core and the game, then most likely these kind of core threats are reasonable. But can we be so sure that we win the core? I'm not sure. Of course, we can always say that there was no reason to enter the core because there were a lot of opportunities how to just kill white unconditionally without any kind of move like this one. But anyway, we need to face this situation, and we can actually see really something amazing what doesn't happen very often. That actually black is paying such a big price only for this core. So it seems like white probably got like 20 extra points, plus white is able to get this, and white got enormous influence. So I think only by these core threats, white got like 30 points at least, but probably even more. So the game becomes crazy kind of at this moment, and even though the value of the core is way bigger than 30 points, the value of the core is like 80 points or something like that. The influence will be now used for killing this Kema. So even after white's dragon died in the top left, black already paid so much on the right side, it's not really sure if it's a gain from the core. Now black has to live with the group in the bottom right. If black can, the game is absolutely alright, but it's not really easy to do it. So finally, black comes back here. So how is it with the life and death of this group? Because if white plays here, black will live this way, right? It's already extremely painful. So I think this would be already a very big gain for white if white gets these exchanges. But if white blocks from the other side, I'm not really sure if black can live. Let's check it out. So if black plays here, white plays this move, and now it seems already hard to find a move. So if black plays here, white will probably peep. Black will play here, this, and now probably black is alive because white cannot get both this one and this one. So this should be probably all right at this moment. So black probably lives this way, but if we play here first, black will play this move, white takes, and then black lives this way. It will be always very painful life, so we can once again see how much did black pay for the core, but black is alive. So this move, even though it's big, it's probably not good to play it at the moment. Also, if white plays here, we can already see black did some very negative exchanges here. And black will not manage to live inside, probably. So if black was not sure how to reduce, most likely black could have played just shoulder hit and jump. And I think if black plays like this and destroys the bottom, black should still win the game. Because the top left is really enormously big, so I think black should be still able to win the game. So black actually finds this Geta, or we can call it fake Geta. So finally, also black lives here. and it ends up this way. White actually managed to capture these 4 stones, but otherwise black leaves in a painful way as we thought. And then black plays this move. So couldn't actually black try something more? So if white cuts this way, now the question is if black can cut through. But probably black can. Yeah, it seems like there might be some severe troubles here. So black will probably play here, then this move. Yeah, and it seems like there are too many troubles which white has to solve. And black has 5 liberties. So I think black will maybe not survive with the stones at the bottom, but black will use the center moves around here and live in the corner afterwards. So black still try to live in the corner. If black tries to make a big base like this, it still doesn't work. So this is not good enough. Yeah, and black didn't reduce enough here. Black should reduce here, this way, and like this the game would be very close. But if black plays like this from this stance, and black connects, white plays here, and then black plays honey, even though black got this huge endgame, now black is finally behind. So a game which we would probably never expect that could be turned around, because at the beginning it was extremely hard for white. Then it became better, but still white had some weak groups in the top left quadrant, and white was not doing anything with that. So it was actually interesting that some groups which were supposed to be strong got under attack. Even after capturing these 2 stones, the left side's white's group got under attack. So at this moment there is not much else left. So finally, white won this game by 11.5 points, which is quite big. But black was leading most of this game, and white was lucky that black, first of all, started a core which was not necessarily the top side because white was absolutely dead. Then black decided to play the core in a very risky way, and finally, black paid too much on the right side. But also, there is another lesson, the main one, which we should learn from this game. When we are attacking the opponent, we should make sure that we have some kind of plan what to get out of it. Because in this game, it felt like the opponents were trying to attack wherever possible, show that they are tough, but sometimes it was counterproductive and the attack became too risky, because if the attack would fail, then it would backfire very fast. So some of the moves were extremely direct, and sometimes it's just better to surround the opponent, force him or her to live in a small scale and get some profit on the outside. So that's something what I proposed at the top side. Also, some groups, even if they capture some opponent's stones, they are not 100% alive, as we have seen on the left side. So that's also something we need to take care of. We should be careful about all of our groups which don't have 2 eyes. Simply, the stones which are not captured are still playing, and the stones which don't have 2 eyes, they are not alive. That's something we should learn and we should always keep in mind. I think this was a very interesting game which I got proposed by the organizers for commentary. There was a lot of severe middle game fighting, a lot of judgment about the statuses of the groups, judgment about the value of the cause, and there were also some interesting shapes. So we can see such a big group which can die, and the games that might be still reversed. So that's also something we should keep in our minds. We should always be sure that we are losing after our big groups dies. But we could see that white was actually able to make from her enormous influence to kill black in the bottom right and get a compensation for that. And finally, white won by quite a comfortable margin. So as I said, this was a very interesting game. I hope you learned a lot and that it was another useful lesson for middle game. And thanks for watching, and see you next time.